And I'm Gene.
And we're SpielMill.
And this is our top 100 board games of all time, number 11 to 20.
Ooh, getting up there.
Getting there. Very exciting.
This is very exciting.
Very near the top. Near the top. We're at the near top.
We are.
At the ridge before the peak.
We are. Not quite the apex. We're at the penultimate. The penultimate.
Yep.
Peak. Yes. Very exciting.
We're on the verge.
We are. We are.
On the cliff's edge.
A knife's edge. A razor's edge.
It's really precarious, actually.
Right. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for putting up
We're
with
not
us.
done with that.
I know we're probably going to do that all night.
Okay.
Anyway. Okay. So, yes, we are in our 11 to 20. We've made it all the way. We, of course, did these lists way back at the beginning of the year. So this is what our top 20 was then. It might have changed since then. But, yeah, these are all really good games.
Yep.
So who's going to start us off?
I don't know. Who started off last time?
No idea.
We don't remember ever. So we apologize if it's always the same person.
Yeah.
I'll go first.
Okay.
I suspect
it's always you.
I feel like last time you went first. I don't know, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Well, my number 20 board game of all time is a really good one, and it dropped out of my top, but I think it'd be back up there because we did play it not too long ago, and right after we made the list, and that's Spirit Island. Spirit Island is a fantastic cooperative game with a great theme of fighting off the colonial invaders.
Yep.
Really fun. You play different spirits, and you have asymmetric powers, and you work together to defeat the towns and the cities and the colonists and protect the island.
Yeah, I think mine would go up probably as well, although it was 41, so, but I think it would probably move up. It really
I think it'd be back in my top 10. But the big part of, we played it with the expansion, Jagged Earth, and what's the other one? Broken Claw, or whatever.
Branching Claw?
Branching Claw, that's it. And Broken Claw. Ow! And yeah, so
the expansions actually took it up a notch.
Yeah,
I thought really
they made it a little more complicated as well, but it was really good and really worth it.
Yeah, I love the asymmetric player powers in it.
Yep, it's very nice, and it's very unpredictable how it's going to go exactly because of all the different things that could happen and pop up with the different events and stuff. So
I will say one thing I really like about Spirit Island is that the variable player powers you play a spirit, and they tell you like how complex it is. So you can within the game change the complexity depending on like what you're up for. You can play a super simple spirit, or you can play a really complex one. I think that's actually really neat.
There's also different things you can do. There's different scenarios you can play, and there's different invaders and stuff like that. And then based on the scenarios invaders, they have complexity levels. So you could do one that's more complicated, or you can even balance it out with other things. Like we did one thing where it was like instead of the usual 3 boards, there were 4 boards, I believe, but it made it harder based on something else that made it easier.
Yeah.
So you can balance that stuff out, and it makes it just so much variety. And,
really customizable experience, which is wonderful.
It works really well. So that's my number 20 board game of all time. The best choice at number 20. Spirit Island.
All right. Well, my number 20 is by one of my favorite designers.
Me!
No. You are my favorite designer of all time, just not of board games.
Oh, okay.
And that is...
What do I design?
I don't know. Experience. Experience. You cultivate life. Fields of Arle.
Fields of Arle.
Yes,
good choice.
From Uwe Rosenberg. I really, really like this Uwe. One of the things that I think is really cool about it is that you've got a spring, summer, and fall, winter. You've got 2 different seasons, and so your actions vary depending on what season you're in, and you can play something in another season, but then that kind of changes your, you lose something. I think you end up going last, or I forget what it is, what happens if you do that. But, I think it's just, it's really cool. I love the Uwe games. I love farming. I love to build out my little you know, my little area. This one's neat because you are moving, you're also transporting goods. So not only are you like growing crops or getting animals, but then you're turning those into goods and then you want to deliver those goods. So I think it's just kind of takes the very basic idea of Agricola, where you're producing, you know, in a farm, and ramps it up. And
Absolutely,
so I absolutely love this game. It is one of my favorite Uwe games. That is Fields of Arle, and it's new to my list because we just played it for the first time this year.
Yeah, it was my number 42.
Yes.
Crossover.
All right. Well, probably most of them are going to be crossovers at this point.
Most, yeah. Ready?
Yep.
My number 19 board game of all time. I don't know if this is on your list or not, but I really enjoy this, and it really grew on me the more I played it, and that's Lost Ruins of Arnak.
Yeah.
Arnak is a really good sort of midweight game, sort of low to midweight. I don't think it's very complicated, but it's got enough in there to be very strategic and just very fun to do over and over and over and over again. And I played a lot of BGA, and that's where I get most of my plays. We do have one of the expansions we have not played yet. The Leaders expansion, everybody says makes it better. So I'm looking forward to that. And I just really enjoy this one. I do think the research track strategy is a little better than most, but there are other strategies, and you do have different directions you can go. And for some reason, even though their strategies are a bit repetitive because there's not a huge amount of them, I just find it very engaging and very interesting.
Yeah, this did not make my list, but I think it might. I don't know if it would or not. There's so many good games. Yeah. But we've been playing it a lot on BGA. We just had a game where I like shot up the research track. I was way ahead. It was the first time I've ever done that. I almost ignored the center.
Not a guaranteed win, though. I think I won that game.
I thought I might win that.
Yeah, sorry.
I might call you names.
Well, you're ahead of me on the research track in the current game as well. So we'll see.
Yeah. Anyway, I really like it. It's a good game. Not sure if it would crack my top 100 or not. It might if I did my list today, but hard to say. All right. Well, my number 19 is up 24 spots. And that is Tabanusi Builders of Ur.
Oh, good choice. Yeah. Really, that was recently on my list. It was 31.
Really love this game. It is one of the T games, of course, and you're building, of course, you're building out your city, but it's very cool because there's like water areas, and you have to put gardens on the water areas, and the way the movement is it's dice. You roll the dice, right, and then you place them around where they are, and I forget how the dice work, but it's super clever.
Well, the number on the dice, I believe, determines which port you can
go to next. That's what it is, which is so interesting. It is such a clever thing. Like, I might absolutely have to go to the number one spot.
Or is it the color determines that, and then the number determines the power of the action? I forget.
No, it's the number.
Okay.
Because there's like 6 places, and if I really want to go to spot number 1, I'm gonna have to go somewhere that there's a number 1 dice, and I might not need to do that one that much, but I desperately need to go there, so I'm gonna have to do that.
It's first. A really interesting,
super clever,
yeah,
and of course, it's got the thing I love about all the T games is that there's like all of these different things happening on the board, right? There's so many different things. There's like a little area where you're trying to put your buildings and create like row or column majorities, and there's a track that you're trying to move up, and you're trying to build buildings and gardens, and just I love that. I love it when there's just a hot mess of stuff going on, which all the T games have, and I think Tabanusi is very high on my list. I'm not sure if it's the highest on my list of the T games, but it's one of my favorites. And of course, it sent me down a whole rabbit hole of research to find out that Ur was actually an ancient city that was built on a swamp, which is why you're putting your gardens in the water areas, and
and you have to put down land first.
Yeah, you got to put down land on the water to build. It's super thematic. I love that. I think it's that accuracy, if you will, where the mechanics are true to the theme, and the theme is true to what was actually happening in that area is also hits my nerdy sweet spot. So Tabanusi Builders of Ur is my number 19.
Great choice.
All right.
My number 18 board game of all time is a totally different direction, not as heavy as any of the games we've been talking about in the last few minutes, and that is Tumbling Dice.
That's very light, but it is good.
It's really fun. One of the things I love about Tumbling Dice is you can play it with 2, you can play it with 10. We've played it with like 12 people and just like all kinds of dice going all over the place, and it's a dexterity game. You're just rolling dice down a series of steps, and then depending on like if you roll the die, and if it lands on the 3 side and you're on like the 3rd level down, it's like 3 times 3 is 9 points. But then if you get it onto, there's a couple of narrow ledges. If you get it on those, it's like 5 times or 10 times. I don't know, but
yeah. And so
I don't remember the multipliers, but the point is that you get, so you have to do a little bit of math when you score, which is a little bit of everyone has to stop and figure out their scores. But it's really fun game, and it's really simple, and it's like shuffleboard kind of. You just roll them down there, and you can knock other players' dice off, but you have to be careful. You don't want to knock their dice forward, and then if they have a 1 showing, you don't want to knock their dice over so that it becomes a 6
on the higher, more powerful level, which invariably happens a couple times during the game.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a really good game.
And then they're like, "Thank you very much." So,
or you could knock their 6 over to become a 1, which you know.
And then you're like, people. It's like, do I set it on the 1 at the beginning when I hit it so that it rolls off the 1? You know, like you got that little strategy game going on.
And it works with our friends because they're sort of like vocal and joyful about those strategies. Like, all right, I'm gonna set it on the 1 and see what happens, and roll it down and see if that gets me a 6. And
exactly,
a lot of fun.
So I think you can push it or flick it, or you don't have to do it one particular way, but it's neat. The game works really well. So Eagle Griffin Games, and I really love this one. It is my number 18 board game of all time, Tumbling Dice.
Very high. All right, my number 18 is new to the list, and we were actually, I think, playing this when we made the list, and I'm not sure it would be this high if we weren't playing it at the time. But then again, maybe it would, because I really, really love the game, and that is Clans of Caledonia.
Oh, it's a good one, yeah.
Yeah, so we just played it this year. Really interesting game in that you're trying to like build out onto a map, and you have to put out, like, if you want to make whiskey, you have to have a cornfield and a whiskey distillery, right? And if you have 2 corn, you know, you can only make 1 whiskey from the 1 whiskey distillery. So just trying to like match your production as well as your manufacturing plants. And of course, you know, at the same time, you're trying to put out the things that get you money and resources during the game. I really like that you start with clans that have different variable powers. So like, it's a minor thing, but to me that makes it really interesting. That actually is not so minor in how it impacts the game for me, because it means every single game there's a slightly different strategy based on what you're good at, and I like that level of complexity. It keeps it from being super samey, which is really important. A game is not going to get this high for me if there's not some variability that is going to make it a little bit different every time. So every single time I've got to stop and think, okay, what is my strategy in this game? If I have the same strategy going in every time, even if it's a game I like, it's not gonna probably be this high.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah. So
I like this one, and we don't play it on BGA enough. It's on BGA.
Yeah. Is it on BGA or Yucata?
BGA.
Okay. Oh, you're right. Fields of Arle is on Yucata.
Yucata, yeah. We need to play that more too.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So that is my number 18, Clans of Caledonia.
Good choice. My number 17 board game of all time is a really good game. It's a tableau builder. It is a worker placement game. It is cute as a button, and it is Everdell. Very beautiful game. It's got the beautiful tree that is pointless, but it overlooks everything and it helps add table presence, and I love it. And I just love this game. This is one I think would do really well on BGA as a midweight that you could sort of replay over and over and over. I really would love an online implementation of this.
Yeah, me too.
But I don't really do apps for whatever reason. But so there probably is an app, but I don't really do apps. But I don't know. It's a really great game. Cute anthropomorphic animals. Can't lose. I love it with all the expansions in, but we've only done that once or twice, so I would have to relearn them. And we do have the complete collector's edition. We haven't played it since we got the big box, but that's not because some people complain about setting it up from the big box. But we haven't done that yet. We haven't tried to do it yet, which is just because we've been so busy playing other games.
Yeah.
So, but I really hope we can get this to the table again this year or something.
This one is a crossover with me, but it was my 77th game, which is a huge drop. It was 5 last time. And I think it's just because we haven't played it. I bet if we played it again, it would just rocket right up.
It would, Rebecca. It's so good. It's very good. It's like Agricola. It's got that little, it's really tight early in the game. You can't do that much. But then by the end, you're doing all kinds of things.
Yeah. So, the last turns, it's just like an embarrassment of riches. So, wonderful.
My number 17 is Everdell.
All right. My number 17, I think, is a crossover. I think you've already mentioned and that is Detective, a modern crime board game. If you haven't mentioned it,
24.
you're probably going to.
My number 24.
Yeah. I mean, we love murder so much.
So much. We would suggest keeping your distance from us.
Yes. We love murder.
No, we love murder mysteries.
Yeah, we love murder mysteries. We watch them. That's almost all we watch, except for some sci-fi or fantasy. We watch mostly murder, murder shows, and I love the murder games. We play a lot of puzzle games. We love those. But the detective series is, to me, the cream of the crop, and that's because the story was so amazing, and there was a story arc, right? If you play the base game, you start off with something that's kind of simple, and then that story goes through the entire, arc, the 5 games there are in it. And we had just so much fun playing this. We had a murder board up, with the string connecting things. We played with a friend of ours. We played with a friend of ours during the pandemic. We actually played over Zoom once when it was like really the heart of the pandemic and we couldn't be together. And it was just a delightful experience. I think this will always be one of my favorite gaming experiences. So it'll probably always stay in my top 100. But we've more mysteries to do, so we can play it again.
Yeah.
Maybe when Mel comes in August, we can play.
Yes, that's very exciting. Hope she is planning to do that.
You don't want to see other people, right? You just want to play detective with us, I assume.
Exactly.
All right, so that is my number 17. Oh, and this is down 20.
Can't be down 20.
It's up.
That would be negative 3.
20. It's down 3. Up 3. It's up 3. It's up 3. It was at 20 last time.
20.
There we go. And I think actually the reason it went up, even though we haven't played it, is that my appreciation for puzzle games has gone up. And those mystery games has gone up because we've been playing a lot of them, and just what this game did.
Yeah.
I really loved
it. It had a really impressive story.
Yeah.
Now we have to do more of the campaigns to see how well each one holds up. But yeah. All right. My number 16 board game of all time is this is a real classic. This is a classic bag builder, and it is Orleans. Orleans. So Orleans is a bag builder. And it's got a really interesting action selection system where you draw discs out of a bag and you get like 6 of them, or you start the game, I think you get 4, and then you get more as you go. And then, but you need at least 2 to activate an action. So early on, like Everdell and like Agricola, it's really hard to do a lot early on. But as you go and you draw more out of the bag and you have more flexibility because you have monks that are wild and you're able to just manipulate and do different actions. And this is another game that has a few different things going on. It's got multiple tracks, and we love tracks. But it's also got like a land area that you explore and you build up
guild halls.
And then you have a board you can send your workers to when you're not using them anymore. And you can get money, gold, or points or whatever. So that way as well. So it's really cool. A really good game, and definitely a classic. We did try to figure out the cooperative ones, but we were tired and we couldn't figure it out. And so we never played the cooperative invasion version. But I still want to do that.
Is that that's not Orleans Stories, is it?
No,
that's different.
That's different. We do also have Orleans Stories, which people did not have really good reviews of, but I'm still looking forward to giving it a go.
We'd probably like it.
Yeah.
And the roll and write, it has a good roll and write implementation as well. Just want to mention that.
Yes, the roll and write is pretty true to the board game, but in roll and write form.
Yeah.
So it works pretty well. So yeah, my number 16. Board game of all time, Orleans.
Which is also on BGA. So if you want to play with us, let us know.
Yes.
Okay. My number 16 is down 1. So it's really almost in exactly the same spot it was in before.
Okay.
And that is Taverns of Tiefenthal. In particular, with every single expansion, even though they tell you not to play with every single expansion. I like it that way.
Yeah, some of them are kind of incompatible with each other.
Yeah, I think there might be one or two.
There might be one we have to drop
that we didn't like, that we took out or whatever. But in general, I want everything.
As much as possible.
I love taverns. I love the modular board. I love the fact that you can improve it and pieces flip over.
So good.
I know. I love that it's a deck builder. It also has, depending on how many expansions you're playing with, it has a track that you're going around, and you get stuff for going around the track.
Yep.
And of course it's about a tavern.
Who doesn't like a good German tavern?
Yeah. It's so great. So great. Love, 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 love this game. I don't know. It just really hits for me. It's not, well, I mean, I guess if you put all the expansions in, it's kind of complex, but it's generally, like, its base game isn't that complex.
It's never more than midweight, I think.
Yeah. But I like this. It feels warm. It feels cozy. It feels like a tavern. It does. It just feels like a tavern. And the art is delightful. I love the look of it.
Yep.
So I would love to play taverns right now. That is it is on Yucata. So you can play it online. And that is my number 16. 16, it was 15. I'm confusing myself with my columns of numbers here.
All right. My number 15 board game of all time is new to the list. And it is it's actually a classic game that just was redone as a deluxe edition. And there's a new kind of streamlined version of it. And this is La Granja.
So much fun.
La Granja is really amazing. It's got one of those games that has these multi-use cards where you have the cards and you can use them 4 different ways. There's something on the top of the card, something on the bottom of the card, something on the right of the card, something on the left of the card. And then you have to decide how to use it. And so you put it under your player board. You either slide it under the bottom of your player board to get like a power. Slide it on the left of your player board to get like fields where you can grow crops. Slide it on the right of the player board, you can maybe get more barn space for pigs or more income. Or you can slide it on the top and you get like a goal to get points.
An order to fill or something.
An order to fill, yeah. So it's really neat.
So good.
Obviously, just like there's so much decisions space in this game, just from those cards.
Yeah.
But there's other aspects to it. There's a track on the board that each round you roll dice, and that determines
what's
available, and then you draft. And you have to make decisions about what you want to draft based on what's available. And so it's like, oh, do I go for this really good thing now or try to get this lower thing? Because there's multiple of the good thing available, different decisions to make there. So really good game. It's got that sort of feel of like a New Way game, but it's not a New Way game. It's really
Yeah.
well designed, though, and I really enjoy it. So that is my number 15, La Granja.
That was my number 37, and that just tells you how good all these games are, because I'm like, is that still coming up? Because I know that's so high on my list, but no, that was 37, so many good games. All right, well, my number 15 is new to the list. Yeah, it's relative. I can't remember when we first played it. It's only been a couple years. It is on BGA, and that is Arc Nova.
Ooh, that's not surprisingly high for you.
Really, you think it is or not?
Not surprising.
Yeah. I really, really love this game. Somebody once said it's like the I don't have enough money game. But I think the more you play it,
not a crossover.
Yeah. The more you play it, the more you figure out how to make the get the money you need to do what you need to do. I play this a lot solo. I really enjoy this as a solo game, actually. But you're building out a zoo. You've got to build enclosures for the animals, and then you got to get the animals in there. But it's with a sort of conservation mindset, as a lot of zoos are these days. So you release in the wild or support conservation projects. There are experts that you can hire. There are I forget what else the cards are. Are they all experts? I think they're all experts. Yeah, they're all experts. You can play experts that give you powers, like if you have a...
Well, there's animal cards and there's expert cards.
Right, the expert cards. I was trying to remember if they
some of them are like organizations and stuff, like,
yeah, so
like NGOs.
Yeah, it could be like you have the best like herpetologist on staff, and so your goal is to get a lot of snakes, or if you have a snake, you get something else when you get it. So just really, there's a lot of layers to it. It's not surprising. It's sort of a tableau builder, sort of a tile laying game, because you're trying to fill up your space in your zoo. Just really, really enjoy this one.
This might be higher for me if it's not on my list, but it might have been higher if I played it more in person.
Yeah.
I find it, to me, on BGA, it's just like too much information on the cards that I don't see, and I just, so I don't enjoy it as much. I just kind of play through it.
Yeah. I feel that way about Forest Shuffle, which I love, but it's hard.
That's a hard one to play online too.
Yeah, and which is where I started to play, and then I played it in person. Was like, holy cow, it's even better. Again, I really like to solo Arc Nova too, because I think, when I do solo it alone, it's 30 minutes probably through the game, and I don't have to like stop and think about what my strategy is, like what was I doing when I last took my turn 2 days ago or whatever. But I really enjoy this game, and that's Arc Nova.
It's a good one. All right, my number 14 board game of all time. One of my favorite themes, we talked about this in one of our other videos, is nature, and this is a nature theme, and it is Trailblazer, the John Muir Trail. This is pretty much a straightforward worker placement game. You're collecting resources, you're visiting different scenic locations, there's a little bit of tableau building where you're collecting like bird sightings and stuff, and flora and fauna sightings, and there's you are moving along the trail, so you're hiking along the trail, and then you need a certain amount of food and water to hike, and stuff like that. And it's just there's a lot going on, but it's straightforward worker placement. I really enjoy it. I really love the theme, and I think the game implements the theme very well. I really have always loved the idea of like a hiking board game, but there isn't a lot of good ones. But this one does it really well. So I think the theme obviously carries us a little bit, but it is my number 14 board game of all time, and that is Trailblazer, the John Muir Trail.
But I think that's legitimate. If you have a theme that you love, and then you have a board game that really well like implements it, like that's what makes it a good game, right? Yeah. So yeah. I love it too, and it's gorgeous. It's a really beautiful game. All right, my number 14 is another one by one of our favorite designers, and that is Le Havre. Uwe.
Woo!
Yeah, we just played it this year.
That's high. I'm nowhere near that high.
And
I don't think it's in my top 100. Less crossovers than you might have thought.
Yeah. It is high. Again, probably had like just played it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just still feeling the high.
Oh, it's a good game. I'm not chagrining it.
What I really, one of the things I really love. That's the apex. That's the apogee. What I really makes this game sing for me are the cards, the card market with the buildings, because that's super variable, right? And so your strategy is going to change every single time. And as we know, I love that on board game, when the board game is going to change dramatically based on what cards are out. You don't need to learn anything new, right. And suddenly you have a really different experience than you had the last time. And you've got to think through the strategy and what you're going to do. And I think that's what I really love about Le Havre. And I had to go look up pictures because all I can remember is that card market. But you're trying to get resources like fish or cattle, and then you're going to turn those into more luxury goods that you're going to put on a ship and basically sell them. Mm. But you, of course, also have to feed your people because it's Uwe. And every single turn, you're going to have to feed them. And it gets more and more and more expensive to feed your people.
Yeah.
But I just, again, that variability. And for Uwe, that's actually, I think this is probably one of his more variable games because of that card deck. Not all of his games, but a lot of his games, so much is static and the cards are a smaller part of it, but it's a really big part of Le Havre. And so I think it makes it one of his more variable games.
The driving part, yeah.
Yeah. So that's new to my list. That is number 14, and that is Le Havre.
All right. My number 13 board game of all time is up 67 spots. It's my highest ranked party game. It is, I'm a little surprised it's the highest ranked party game because I think, like, objectively, I would have thought Codenames would have ranked higher, but this is So Clover. I just enjoy it. I like all these games. It's really hard to compare them because I enjoy them all kind of similar, like Just One and So Clover and Codenames. Perfect Words is one of my favorites these days. But I really, Haiku is fun. So many of these. But I like word games a lot. And, So Clover is really fun. The only complaint I have with So Clover is I'm always like, you have to be careful about not tilting your board and the cards fall off. And then,
and then you gotta
that's a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
And you're trying to write in secret, so it's kind of a little annoying. But I really do enjoy this game, and I think it's fun, and our friends like it, so that helps.
Yeah, I think this is a really, it's very clever. It is so clever.
So clever.
Oh, look at your shirt. You got a clover on your shirt.
I do have a clover on my shirt.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, one of the things I like about this
is... I think of my glasses, too.
Whereas with Just One, you're trying to give I'm just ignoring you. I love you. You're perfect. But you're chatty tonight. With Just One, everybody's trying to give you a clue for the same word. With So Clover, you're trying to give one word for two clues, right? Which is just so interesting.
Bridge that gap, yeah. And then people have to guess what words align with what cards.
And we have fun debating, like what do we think that person meant.
And we don't score it. We just play it.
Yeah.
So that's fun. So yeah, my number 13 board game of all time, So Clover.
My number 13 is, again, by another favorite designer. The top 20 is just chunk full of our top designers, and that is Vinhos Deluxe Edition.
Oh, nice.
So Vital Lacerda, we love his games. And
absolutely.
This is, I'm not going to tell you whether it's my favorite or not, but it's definitely obviously up there on the list. And we do love the theme of winemaking, but the thing I really like about Vinhos is it's less about making the wine and more about marketing, like the whole arc of having a vineyard, sort of like the Gallerist, actually, now that I think about it.
Gallerist is also about the economics of art.
So I guess this is too, which is weird because I couldn't care less about economics but love art and wine. But the game is great. It's a chewy, complex game, as Lacerda's are. I don't think it's as complex as what's the Rococo looking one, Lisboa. I don't think it's as complex as Lisboa. It's been a couple years since we played that, so I might be wrong. but it's definitely a step below like an On Mars or something like that. But it's still obviously super chunky. And I love that. There's always so many things going on in his games and different strategies that you can employ to win. It's great.
Good choice.
That is my number 13, Vinhos.
Okay.
New to my list.
Nice. My number 12 board game of all time is up 6 spots. Oh, yeah, that's what it says. So I thought it was higher, to be honest, but it's Cartographers. My top, this is the top roll and write on my list. And I love Cartographers. To me, when I was sick, and I always talk about this, I was able to play Cartographers when I couldn't play pretty much any other game. And the reason is because my illness comes with this sort of brain fog, but it's painful. And so I would take a turn in Cartographers and trying to think about where to put the shape and whatever. It would hurt my head, and I'd start to get like a little bit of a headache, and then I would color, and the headache would go ooh, and dissipate.
Yes.
And then it'd be my turn again. And I would take a turn and it'd start to hurt my head again. And then I'd color.
Our sheets from those times were gorgeous. I took pictures of some, and we draw little houses. There'd be
put a lot of effort in because the coloring was essential for me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, and there would be even times when, I'd be like, are you ready for the next round or next card? And you'd be like, no, I need another minute. And we'd just keep coloring. I'd add suns to my little houses or waves to my water. It's so good.
And it's a good game. Really strategic. Like the scoring system, which is similar to Isle of Skye, with the different scoring and you have multiple scorings and different scoring conditions occur at different times.
Yeah.
And I really like that scoring system. I think it's really interesting, and you kind of plan ahead and for what's going to score when, and it works really well. So yeah, my number 12 board game of all time is a roll and write, Cartographers.
We went through a phase where we had what we called our Copenhagen phase with our villages, where we would draw like a skyline or like brick faces.
We do different color houses and kind of like the Copenhagen riverfront, canal front.
Yeah. All right. Okay, that's a great choice. My number 12 is another Stefan Feld game.
Okay, no surprise.
And that is Carpe Diem.
All right.
The funny thing
that's high.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, one of the things I love about Carpe Diem, I can't remember exactly how it works, but it's like how you pick your movement, because you move on a circle, and you're really dictated by where your meeple is now. I think it can go anywhere across, but not next to where you are. And so again, there's that thinking, like, I'm kind of planning ahead. I need to get over to that spot to get that tile, but I can't do it now. I've got to put myself in position. And then on top of that, it also has the tile laying. You're building out an area where you're building like fisheries and vineyards and haciendas, or whatever they call them in that, and to try to score points, lining them up to get the right thing in the right column, as well as being able to score what you need to score in any particular round. It's just those multiple layers of thinking. It's, again, a fairly, well, not fairly simple, but it's a,
it is fairly simple.
It's fairly simple, right? You move a particular way, you get a tile, you put the tile on the board, you're done, right? But all of those other factors that make it complex, that change depending on the game, are what make it interesting to me, because again, that puzzle is going to be a little bit different every time,
right? And
you're going to have to, you can't go into it and just be like, I know what I'm doing, I know what my first turn's going to be.
And it's like one of his later games, like Notre Dame is, or something. So
but he's so good at that. He's so good at making a game that's pretty simple to learn, and yet feels fresh and challenging every single time you play it.
This is not on my list. I think it suffers with me because I it's ugly.
so ugly.
Because it's ugly.
It's hideous.
It's hideous, and I don't know what they're.
And we even
there's
have
a better version, and it's still hideous.
That's what we have is the better version.
It's still hideous. You improved it, and you made it just slightly less hideous.
Come on. Come on.
C'est la vie.
I mean, they also did just completely ruin the art on King Domino, so it is possible to make a game worse.
Yeah. That's BGA did that. So yeah.
But I think that might be based on the new.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Game art. So.
Oh, weird.
Hate it.
Yeah, it's terrible. Okay.
All right.
That's your number 12, right?
That's my number 12. Yeah, Carpe Diem.
Yeah.
Carpe Diem. Seize the day.
Well, my number 11 board game of all time is from Stefan Feld.
Oh.
It is Amsterdam. Amsterdam is one of my favorites, obviously. I really enjoyed this game. It's got a cool action selection system where you're drafting different colored cubes and then you're putting them on a wheel depending on how many of that cube that you get. If you get 3, you put them in a 3 spot. But then you don't actually, you can spend those for actions, but not yet. Not until 3 turns later when they come out of the wheel. And then when they come out of the wheel, those 3 cubes pop out, and then you can spend them. So if you really want to get like 6 cubes, but if you get 6 cubes and you go in your wheel, they don't come out for 6 turns. It's such a interesting, like...
So clever.
So you want to be able to do things every round. So you're trying to get things in your 1 and 2 slots, and your 3 and 4 slots, and your 5 and 6 slots. But you also want to do as much as possible. So you're trying to get as much as possible, like 5s and 6s as much as possible too. So it's like... You're trying to balance this all out, and it's really tricky. Plus, you have things going on the board all over the place. You've got, you're moving from ports, dock to dock, moving goods and trying to, fulfill orders. You got a river canal thing that you're moving down.
Yep.
And trying to do different things in the canal to get points and stuff. You've got the city, and you're trying to build buildings,
right.
And get points that way. And then there's like a contiguous sort of, not area control, but area majority kind of thing going on down there. So that's really interesting. So there's a lot going on. Very interesting board game. And, I really like this one quite a bit. So
he's a genius. He's competing to be my favorite designer of all time.
He's
really
up there,
is.
yeah.
Like, he is so good. He's so clever. Like, that his action selection mechanisms that change in every game. Some of them have some DNA that you'll see through a couple of games, but it's still like, it can be wildly different, but they're so smart and so challenging and so thinky. He's just so good.
Yeah, and so I really like this one. And the only negative with Feld in general is he just loves to put in this one take that mechanism in most of his games, and it's annoying because we don't like take that. And it's like this beautiful Euro, and then you have this little take that in there.
Yeah.
Why? I don't understand. But so anyway, so Stefan, let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
Take that out. Stop it.
Make it optional.
Or make it an optional rule that you can do at the end. But yeah, that's all. Balance the game without it, and we're good.
Yeah.
So we always house rule around most of those take that rules. So,
I hate them. Hate them. Ruins the game for me. But
yeah, I love Feld though, personally and professionally. Yeah. So my number 11 board game of all time is Amsterdam.
Sassy tonight. So sassy. My number 11 game is down 10 spots.
Oh. That's from number 1. Is it Gloomhaven?
It is.
Wow.
Well, Gloomhaven was lower for you, wasn't it? Has it come up?
I mean, it was, what was Gloomhaven last time? It was 2.
Have you mentioned it yet? I don't know.
I don't think I have.
Okay.
Spoiler, but.
So, we just started Frosthaven, but we haven't played it in like
I didn't say what it was this time. We just started Frosthaven.
Yeah.
Barely.
And I think that we'll probably move it back into the top, or Frosthaven will go into the top, but we barely started it. And when we did this list, we hadn't played Gloomhaven for, 4 years, 5 years.
Well, I played
6 years.
I played Buttons and Bugs.
Yeah.
Buttons and Bugs, yeah. bugs and buttons.
Yeah.
Buggy buttons,
Yeah.
button bugs.
And I've played
Bugsy
a little bit
bugs.
of that, but
Yep.
but I still love Gloomhaven. It was bar none my favorite gaming experience ever was playing through the first Gloomhaven with you.
It's gonna be hard to ever beat that first experience.
Yeah.
It was just special.
It was special. I mean, we would for like 2 months. We would literally on Saturday we'd get up and be like straight to the Gloomhaven table. We'd just play.
Right. Like Frosthaven is cool so far,
day.
but it's first of all, I can't replicate that experience because I physically cannot play all day like that anymore.
But I mean, we would play for like 12, 15 hours a day sometimes.
Dusk till dawn.
Yeah.
Dawn to dusk.
We'd come home from work and we'd be like, all right,
no, it'd just be all day.
Let's order takeout and go play Gloomhaven, you know. But it was a wonderful experience. It was very immersive. Being able to level up your character, so like you got multiple things you're playing for. You're playing through that scenario and you want to win that scenario, but you're also trying to get experience points and get loot so you can buy new things for your character, so you can level up and get a new character. And you know, you can go to town and you have these adventures on the road where you run into people and you decide what you're going to do. And you know, and some people might like to explore different personality types with their characters, but we always did the nice thing. Like we took care of people that we met on the road. We like, are we going to rob them?
Pretty much.
Yeah, we're probably not going to rob him. We're going to help him change his wheel, you know, which sometimes bit us in the butt, but whatever. But we really, really loved this game. And again, even though we haven't played it, I think 2018 might be the last time we played it.
Yep.
Before we started Frosthaven, it was still so high in my estimation, and it's staying up there simply because it is truly it is the best gaming experience I've ever had.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that, again, we won't be able to replicate it because we can't do what we did in 2018.
Just we can't go as hard, as heavy, like intensely.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but. Yeah. We're still enjoying it.
But Frosthaven is interesting so far. We're only a couple scenarios in, so we'll see.
Yeah. So that is my number 11, Gloomhaven.
All right, good choice. And that is our number 11 to 20 board games of all time.
Yeah.
And I'm tired, so we're going to go. But let us know what you think in the comments. And our top 10 is next.
I know, it's going to be interesting.
It's exciting.
It is exciting. Can't wait to do it.
All right. Remember,
every day that you game
is a holiday. Bye, everyone.
Bye.